Hello Galaxy Commanders and welcome to this video for Infinite Galaxy. First of all, I want to thank you all for subscribing to the channel and for the support and feedback you give me all the time. Um, we got pretty far. If I think about, I started this channel in November 2020, mainly to create some basic videos for the lines I was in at this time to get better understanding of all players, of certain events we started. And with your help, we made this channel the main source of information for Infinite Galaxy. And this is amazing. Thank you all for this. We are also now at a point where YouTube enabled some additional features. So from now on, you can click the join button next to the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do this there. I just activated it, but don't feel like you have to or something. This is really just for those who want to support the channel. Um, okay, so let's have a look. What are we going to do today? We started doing a flagship poll on the Discord server, and besides some people that say their favorite flagship is an Argo, these people getting changed the role to a shame role immediately. Thank you for this. One of the favorite flagships after the Brontes is Artemis. So let's have a look at the Artemis and think about why this is the case. I can totally understand it, by the way. So skill 1 is kinetic weapons. Artemis is a flagship focusing completely on frigates. So I would prefer if that would be missile type for skill 1, but yeah, it is not. Skill 2 increases the armor by up to 300%. Crazy high, 300%. This is really that's a huge value. I'm already at plus 108%, having this flagship not really ranked up a lot yet. At the same time, it reduces the range of your warship. So you're going there with frigates only. Frigates are anyhow in the first line of the fight. Your frigates, if you use the Artemis, will be the first line of the first line. They will get killed and damaged first. The third skill increases the armor even more by up to another 150% and increases the shield. Skill 4 increases the shield for all warships, and the last skill increases the frigate navigation speed and HP. So all skills for Artemis are defensive based, and you get additional navigation speed on the way, while frigates are anyhow already the fastest warships we have. The flagship itself comes with a nice attack bonus of 339 starting. It is not the most powerful flagship as solo flagship, but it is the flagship with the highest defense values for a specific warship type, and it is just nuts. It is crazy how high you can boost armor with this flagship. And don't forget,
Ship building.
especially frigates, there are always two types. There's a kinetic type and then there's a missile type. The missile type frigates, they have crazy high armor already from the beginning. 4,800 armor on a 3 leadership warship. If you take a look at missile type cruisers, next tier still has only 4,200, and cruisers are at half of it. So same as frigates, the missile type always got the highest armor, and this is really amazing. So you can get the armor value crazy high from this. In addition, you can use crew members to boost it even more. I recommend highly to add additional HP because the armor is already getting boosted so much by the skills that additional HP will give you a huge additional value for these frigates. And this is where we have to talk a little bit about where to use and how to use the Artemis. Um, as mentioned before, the Protoss is at the moment one of the go-to flagships because it is all offensive skills, abilities. And it's using cruisers, so it will always stay in the backline doing damage. Therefore, if you use the Protoss, you should focus on doing as much damage as possible. And if you now go into a team fight, into an event with your alliance, the Protoss, they don't need to add additional armor or HP to their warships. They only need to add damage, damage, and damage. So get the crew members for the weapon types that you have. Like I'm running at the moment tier 8, that's laser cruisers. Um, get the maximum laser damage you can get. Get the additional attack damage for warships. Get additional attack damage for cruisers. These should be your priorities. And exactly the opposite when you run an Artemis. You will be the one who's tanking. You are the tank for all these cruisers that hides behind you. So don't try to increase the damage as priority. If you can increase the damage, it is fine, but your priority should be to increase the defensive, the protective properties of your warships. Get as much HP in there as you can. Get all the crew inside that increases HP, that increases armor even more, that increases shield. And only after you got all of them inside, then you can add additional crew that increases the weapon type or that increases frigate damage in addition. Because the more or the longer you survive, the more damage the cruisers that hide behind you can do, and the less repairs you will get at the end. Same, especially also for PvP. Try to protect your frigates as much as possible with skills and maybe even with buffs, but also with modules. And that's the next thing. When we talk about modules, if we take a look at my Protoss, you can see I put the focus here on the weapons because, as said before, my cruisers will stay behind the frigates. If I'm going to build, and this is something I'm looking into, when I'm building my Artemis, I will put the highest value defensive HP boosting gear into it as possible. So I would put epic, purple and legendary gold equipment into the protective area and blue into the weapons because it's more important that I increase the survivability of my frigates to reduce the repairs to survive longer, and that's the playstyle you should have using the Artemis. One thing I just have to do to show you is and this is one of the points why I really love the Artemis. If you use an Artemis and you do it right, you will have frigates in your Artemis. And if you use, let's take the Protoss as total opposite, you will have cruisers in your Protoss. So now if we go no matter where, somewhere, and we send the flagships, let's say, to the other end of the universe. Let's give the Protoss a small head start, and then we do send the Artemis.
Launching.
You can see a huge difference in speed. Here, this is my Protoss, and the Artemis just shoots by the Protoss. It's nearly half the time, and at the moment, my Artemis is not yet skilled. I don't have the additional speed buff there from the Artemis skill in the last skill to make it even faster. Some of my alliance members have skilled Artemis, And when you see how they run um, through the map, this is really crazy. Using a Brontos then feels like not moving at all. And that's also one of the points where the Artemis is really great for events like the secret signal. No, sorry, the purity protocol. When we have to attack the carrier. The first time carrier is usually very close. I have no problem getting there with my Brontos. But the second carrier we attack, I have 8 to 9 minutes flight time with my Brontos, and the Artemis has less than 5 minutes flight time. So while I will be able to send my fleet once, Artemis players can do 2 attacks and get a lot of additional points there, which at the end will always make them outrank me, even if they do less damage during the initial fights. But just by doing additional attacks, being so fast, this is great. And the same thing if you go for Galaxy Star event and you're not too scared of the repairs and you have high tier frigates, you can send your Artemis into the outer ring, and it is so much faster getting there than any other fleet or flagship, that this is really, really fun to take a look at to do. So this is one of the other things I just want to mention. Where can you use the Artemis? Can you use it in campaign? Sure, if you have enough blueprints to rank it up, you can use it in campaign. Um, if you didn't watch it, you can get blueprints from these special events. Shooting arrow event, when you buy some things for real money, you can get additional blueprints for the Artemis. This comes up every few weeks. Um, you can buy the blueprints in the trade center as normal, so the Artemis is not limited there. And can you use the Artemis in PvE? Absolutely. The Artemis is great, and to be honest, as in all games, it makes absolutely sense to have someone to tank in PvE. Um, you just increase the overall alliance strength a lot. Even if you will not be #1 damage dealer, you will enable the cruiser fleets to be fully focused on damage while you tank for them. Can you use it in PvP? Um, yes, but be careful, because as long as you attack targets that are much weaker than you, or as long as you do space fights, you will only end up with a few repairs or a few losses. Or even if you do space fights and have and lose, they will all end up in repairs. Attacking spaceports, this is where you have to be careful, because you will be the one tanking alone. Um, and when you attack spaceports, you can have permanent losses. So this is a point where I would be careful, where I might not recommend to use Artemis all the time. If you attack a hard target, someone with high defense, um, maybe it's not the best to use the Artemis. Maybe it's better to use a different flagship, that you are not the only one who takes the losses at the end. Okay, so how would I equip the Artemis? What gear?
Flagship.
I already mentioned it. Protective gear, fully HP, and then the weapon slots. Based on the tier you use, I would highly recommend to use missile type um, warships, because they have the highest armor, and that works so beautiful with the additional armor skill there. Um, that Yeah, I mean it hurts, but I would ignore the kinetic weapon attack bonus. As said before, the Artemis is defensive type. It also says here it's defensive type flagship, so you have to be aware of this, and it must be the playstyle you want to go. Um, I would not go for this additional damage from the kinetic weapon, I would go for maximum armor. The difference between missile type frigates and kinetic frigates in armor is just too big to get lost of it. And if you take a look at the range, if we take a look at the kinetic, the range is 5 meters, and the missile type range is also 5 meters. So you cannot choose which one will tank. So that's the reason why I would go for missile type frigates in this case to get this highest bonus. Okay, hope you liked the video. If you didn't subscribe yet, subscribe to the channel, join us on Discord, give the video a thumbs up, and then I hope to see you on the next video.